Do you yearn for travel that involves outdoor adventure and learning? I do. I also have a passion for all things farming and agriculture. I've traveled to exotic jungles to learn about growing chocolate. I even once owned my own organic vegetable and sunflower farm. And now I'm planning my journey back to agriculture. Agritourism, defined as travel that involves some type of agricultural experience. Agritourism is all about entertaining. But the marketing strategist in me knows that at its core, agritourism is really about educating, and education affects change. My future farm needs to deliver a profound experience to all of its visitors. It needs to educate people about food, health, and climate. Join me to learn from experienced agritourism farmers and entrepreneurs and help me build my future farm strategy. And who knows, maybe one day soon you'll find yourself in a tropical jungle cutting open cacao pods with a machete, or savoring an outdoor plant-to-plate community dinner with 100 guests at a farm in Illinois. So let's tap into the agritourist in you. We have had the opportunity to explore agritourism from so many different angles, but this conversation brings us to a much bigger global perspective. In this episode, I reconnect with Marijke Dunselman of Agritourism New Zealand, who many of you may remember from episode 14. This is very much a catch-up conversation, an opportunity to revisit her work, see how things have evolved, and hear what's happening now both in New Zealand and across the broader agritourism landscape. What I appreciate about this conversation is how real it is about what it actually takes to build agritourism into something meaningful. This isn't just about adding a farm stay or listing something on Airbnb. It's about building a business, understanding your customer, pricing your experience, and navigating everything from marketing to health and safety. Marijke shares what she's seeing on the ground, what farmers are asking for, and where the real opportunities and challenges exist today. As you listen, I invite you to think about agritourism a little differently, not just as an experience, but as a strategy. A way for farms to diversify, stay viable, and create something that connects people back to the land in a very real way. Because at the end of the day, that connection, that understanding, is what continues to drive this industry forward. This is Jen Ross, your Agritourist podcast host. Please leave us a review, subscribe, and share this podcast. Enjoy my conversation with Marijke. Hey.
Hi, Jen.
How are you, Marijke?
Good. I can't remember when we last spoke. How long ago was that? Was it last year or the year before?
It was definitely before the new president was elected.
Oh yeah, so it's more than a year ago then.
Yeah, because we were talking about like that during our conversation that I edited out. But yeah. It is. So it's morning there, right? It's morning by you?
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 5 p.m. here. So it's the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. Actually, just had a meeting because you're in Vermont, right?
I'm in New York. Lisa chases it. Yeah. I'm close to Lisa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I was just talking this morning with Pierre Cormier. Have you met him? I don't think you might have. He'd be interesting to talk to as well. So he's actually now the treasurer of the Global Agritourism Network, and he lives in Alberta in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're lovely. Yeah, so he was also on the education committee with me for he still is, and so he's a really smart, lovely guy.
Excellent. Are you going to Scotland?
Yeah, I'm speaking there as well.
Okay, great.
A little close. Are you going?
No, not this year. I just was in Italy, and then I'm going to. Nice. I was in Sicily and Tuscany, and working with some farms. Like doing some work with some farms, and then I'm actually working with a farm in Massachusetts during season here. So it's not a time where I can just leave. Oh, so it's exciting. So. What's going on? I was on your website and I don't know so you have the Agritourism Academy, and I don't know if that was officially launched or it was about to launch when we spoke.
That was launched 2 years ago.
Okay. No. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the regional network, I
Yeah.
noticed seemed to be
Networks.
new.
Yeah, a
So just
couple.
update
Yeah.
me on what's new because you have a lot going on.
So the Agritourism Academy was launched 2 years ago now. I don't know if we spoke before that or not.
It
But
we were you were talking a little bit about it, but I'm not sure. I just remember not getting into you talked about conceptually what it was, but I didn't remember if I didn't
mm,
remember if some of the online stuff was fully launched at that time, but I could be wrong. My
yeah.
memory.
Well, then it probably would, if it would have been launched, I would have told you about it more. But so the Agritourism Academy has been going really well. So that's really it sort of fills a need for farmers who want to sort of hit the ground running, who want to set up a professional agritourism business. So not just a cottage on Airbnb, but actually want to look at the whole business and marketing planning, look at what's possible on the farm, look at different business models, a lot about marketing, customer experience, pricing, health and safety, all the compliance stuff, and to have that all in one place. So it's really
Okay.
easy for people to, rather than having to find all that information out there, to just have it all in one place. So it's a 3 month online course basically.
Okay.
But we also have every 2 weeks we have like live Zoom sessions where we discuss a specific topic, for example.
Okay.
So at the moment we're looking at international distribution through agents. Then we're also looking in near future, for example, about how to get work with film industry. Like we have a lot of movies being filmed here in New Zealand,
Oh, yes.
like
So
Lord of the Rings and stuff. We
okay.
just actually, where I live here on the farms here, we've had a Brad Pitt here for a few months.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so that's been. My neighbor was actually she designs costumes, and she was dressing him for 3 months. So I was like, oh, cool. Anyway,
Oh,
so
that's
that's a big,
nice.
big business. Yeah, big business. So much space here and such a variety of landscape. So that's something we're just looking at the moment. And um, so that the Agritourism Academy has also like people an online sort of forum where people can ask questions and connect with each other, and it's been really fun, and it's been really positive. So then at the end of
Before
last
you
year,
go on, I just want to ask you a
yeah.
question on that. Are there any I mean, I know you covered a few things that you're focusing in on around, international, how to get into that and stuff, but are there any
Hmm.
other hot topics or concerns or things that, the people who are involved in the academy are asking about? Like what are the hot topics?
Yeah, a lot of the sort of more practical things that people are looking at is our health and safety rules are quite strict. It's
Yeah.
very different from anywhere else in the world. Like if as an American, come to New Zealand and you have an accident, we pay for everything. But you can't sue us. But
Okay.
unless we haven't complied with all the health and safety rules.
Okay.
So that's so we have very strict health and safety rules. So that's something that people are often worried about. And when they have people coming onto their farm, as just a sideline of that, we've just launched with an insurance company the first specific agritourism insurance product in the well, not in the world, in the southern hemisphere. So that's really
Okay.
exciting.
That is very exciting.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, the other thing is people don't often know how to price, their product. Those are probably the biggest things. And then you've all the marketing side of things, but pricing is often they think, oh, is it not going to be too expensive, or what? So that's where we look at developing or building a really high quality customer experience. So people write really nice reviews on Google and TripAdvisor and Booking.com and all those sites.
Yep.
And then they can sort of lift the price also a bit because people are happy to pay a price for a really good experience. So
Absolutely.
so the pricing is always a hot topic. And health and safety, that are sort of the main ones. Yeah.
Okay. So you have a regional network that you formed.
Yeah, so last year we did some extensive research what we could do to bring sort of people together. I mean, New Zealand, it's a small country compared to the States, but it's still, and we only have 5.3 million people. But in terms of length, it's about 1,600 kilometers, which is about 1,000 miles long as the crow flies. But driving, it takes 2 to 3 days, 3 days to drive, from the bottom to the
Wow.
top of the two islands. So the South Island is sort of about 60% of the land mass, but with only 1 million people. So like where I live, for example, the next city is sort of 2 hours away. There's a small city and there's another one about 4 hours away, and there's not much in between. So people are quite isolated often.
Yeah.
And if you live on a farm or a station, we call them stations here, like your ranches that are often very large farms. They live sometimes quite isolated. So it's really about, how can we bring these people together? So we did some research of what other farming organizations there are in New Zealand and what agritourism networks in other countries are doing and what works. So one of the issues we had in New Zealand is that we already have 150 farming organizations, which is a huge amount. They all have their boards and their CEO and their this and their that and very admin heavy. So there's a movement at the moment in New Zealand to see if these organizations can work closer together and eliminate some of the duplication. So that's where when with the agritourism networks we're setting up around New Zealand, we said, let's keep it really admin light, not having big elected boards and, all these official things.
Yeah.
Just keep it really simple. Um, we've set up in 4 regions, but 2 networks at the moment, and they're being rolled out across the country, where we ask people also, after having done the research, what works in other countries, what do you want? Because in the end, it's for them. It's so we are having 2 on-farm in-person meetings a year and 2 online sessions.
Okay.
Then we have a discussion for online discussion forum. That's sort of a secure site where it's not like social media where all that information is sort of public.
Yeah.
It's secure, so people can discuss specific things to their business. Or the other day, someone was asking or had a really good tip for someone about certain mattress covers or something. And someone else was asking, oh, we're looking at building cabins. Who's got, ideas for good, like, cost effective,
Yeah.
quality cabins and stuff like that. So
Saves
people,
you a lot of time and money.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And people, so that's what I love about working with farmers, is they're really happy to help each other. And they're used to working together. They're not competition. They don't see each other as competition. They see each other as working together. So we've now, so each region has a regional leader, or sometimes they have 2, like a co-leader as well. And we've set up a couple of these at the moment. So it's still high season here with the tourism. We still have summer, well, just autumn now. But at the end of next month we'll have the more in-person on-farm visits. So that's hosted by one farm, and it depends a bit on what they want to do. We can either get it like a lunch catered. The agritourism operator does a presentation about what they do and what they offer, and then people network. Might then have another speaker if that's relevant on another topic, and then people just network and mingle, and
That's great.
and people really love that. Yeah.
And so your leaders, like, are you as involved, or those leaders kind of are taking a leadership role in
Yeah,
managing
yeah.
each?
So I'm at all the launches of all the ones, and the one in my region, I'll go to the meetings there. And if I'm in another region, if I can manage it, so I'm there at the same time,
Right.
I'll go and visit them as well. But otherwise, it's the leader. So I sort of support the leaders, if you like. So help them, sort of, saying, okay, guys, we need to organize, the next meeting, and we have a WhatsApp group with all the leaders, and we have we have some Zoom meetings regularly where we catch up and say, but it's really about keeping it really simple because it really doesn't have to be that complicated.
Agreed.
I'm a simple person. I like to try to keep things simple.
So anything else on the horizon that, you're looking to do, add anything you're expanding?
Well, that's really sort of the thing, is to really roll that out across the country. That's the focus. We're also have some looking at how we can market internationally. So the marketing side, my background is really tourism marketing as well, because in the end, you want businesses to be successful, and we are very dependent on the international visitors. Actually, America is one of our biggest markets. We get a lot of Americans coming to New Zealand and wanting to move here even.
Yes, I know. Yes, I do know that. How has that been impacted at all, given everything going on in the world?
The whole world. Well, oh yeah, at the moment, of course, our fuel is going up crazy like everywhere else.
Yeah.
And our fuel is about double the price it is in the States.
Wow,
So
I can't imagine.
but yeah, there's a lot of people stuck in Dubai, like where a lot of people from Europe and UK and stuff, they travel via Dubai to New Zealand. It's literally on the other side of the world from, Europe.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
so they have been, there's no no flights through Dubai at the moment. So that's been a massive hassle and impact.
Yeah.
Other than that, we've just said, and New Zealand is seen as the safest destination in the world, which is always you always want to be careful saying that, but people love coming here. So we've had a lot of people.
No, absolutely.
Our tourism is,
So Americans,
well.
you said, is a large percentage. What other countries? We probably touched on this last time, but I don't remember. What other countries are big for you?
Well, the biggest market is Australia, because they're our neighbors. They're only 3 hours flight from here, from the East Coast is. And then we have the United States in terms of spend is the second largest market. Europe, all of Europe together is probably a little bit bigger than the States because of the volume of, if you put them all together. And Asia. Yeah, so we get, because Asia is also relatively close to here. So we get a lot of people from Singapore, from China, from that market hasn't quite come back yet after COVID. The Chinese market, they used to be a lot bigger, but just a Chinese New Year, so we had a lot of visitors.
That's interesting.
It's so but we get a lot of Europeans that come here for quite a, they come here for like at least a month because it's so far for them. They come here for a decent amount of time.
Do you do a lot of
holidays?
Yeah. Do you do a lot of analytics around that for your members around the tourism?
Yeah,
we're
lucky. Yeah, we're lucky because our government collects a lot of data. So everyone that comes into the country has to fill in a form that tells you exactly how long they're coming here for, what they're doing, what the reason is they're coming. And then they can analyze the credit card spend, and they can see exactly where they're spending money and where they're from. They also do more in-depth sort of research, like surveys, ongoing all the time. They interview people.
That's great.
So they know a lot. Also, all the accommodation around New Zealand. So that's not just agritourism, but all commercial accommodation. All that data is captured again, where people are from, how long they've stayed, and all that. So we have a lot of data at our fingertips, which is really great because you really need that to make decisions.
And absolutely. It's really valuable. So you were talking about international, like marketing international. What has been most effective for you in doing that?
Well, we know that between 40 and 70% of our international visitors book through agents. And so, and that's probably more than other countries. Well, we get, like I said, we get a lot of international visitors, and they yeah, they find it often more secure to book through like a travel agent.
Yeah.
So for us to connect with those agents, or we call them inbound tour operators and wholesalers, is an important part
Right.
of, especially if you have a business that's going to grow. A lot of people just have something on Airbnb or booking.com. But if you want to sort of be successful, you really need to build your own website with a booking system, online booking system that has what's called a channel manager that connects um, with all the online travel agencies as well as connecting with agents. So there's quite a lot of work to be done around that. But especially if you have a slightly higher end, if you
Okay.
if you have something that's a little bit more luxury. If it's only, like, say, you know, I'll just convert it in the US dollars. Say if it's like $80 a night, you might as well stick to Airbnb. But if you get something that's double, then the agents are more interested in connecting with you.
Okay.
So
So
that's
do you become like does your, for the people who are not going to build that out, does
Mm.
your website become the inroad for some of these
it's
people?
it's a way for people to just see what's there. But
Yeah.
people can book directly. They can just go to the website of
Okay.
these operators and book through there. I don't clip the ticket, or we don't clip the ticket on it. Um, because you can never compete with the online travel agencies like booking.com and hotels.com and all
Yeah.
those. So they spend literally, I think, something like 6 billion US a year on Google Ads. They spend a
Yeah.
large part of that commission on Google Ads. So there's no use
No,
setting
you'll
up your
never.
own.
Yeah.
No, you never get there. So, but a lot of people go to it, that just search agritourism. They find it, and they find the listings there, and they go direct, to the people. So that's what we encourage them to do, to
Okay.
book direct, so they save that commission that they otherwise have to pay.
Excellent. Excellent.
Uh,
So, have you taken on any new farm businesses that are unique or doing something different?
Yeah, there's some really, I mean, here what we see, there's been quite a development over the last few years where farms have built like multi-day walks, for example. So I've just
Okay.
started working with a new one, and it's a 2-day, 2-night walk. So you arrive in the evening, um, and it's the old farm, homestead, has been completely renovated and beautiful, like bedding and just quite high end. They use all, farm produce and beautiful food. So the whole very much that farm to table sort of
Yeah.
experience. They do an initial talk at the farm. Uh, I mean, in the first evening, to talk to them about how the farm works. Then they walk the next day, and they go to the next farm, on the following farm, and stay there. And it's the same sort of thing there. And then the next day they walk out again. So it's a
Wow.
2-day experience. We have about 25 or 7 of those in New Zealand now.
Oh, wow.
Most of them are like 3 days, 2 or 3. Yeah, most of them are 3 days, and it's really popular. So a lot of people go and do them all,
Yeah,
and
that
some of them
sounds
are really
great.
basic. Yeah, they have like bunk beds, really basic huts, and a lot of them are more luxurious now, and they charge really good money for them, and people absolutely love it. So
That's
that's
great.
something that's been happening a lot, and I love that because people are working together. You have several farms that work together and develop an experience together.
Right.
So that's
That's
something
the,
that's
yeah, that's what we want to happen, right?
yeah. And they charge, like, for example, for a 2-day, 2-night, including all foods and stuff, and they transport your luggage, your baggage to the next accommodation. They'll charge about, if I go to US dollars, about, say, 700 or something for the 2-day, 2-night. So, and if they can accommodate 12 people a day. So yeah, for the two, so
Yeah,
they're full. So it's a really good, once they get that set up. I mean, some have huge amount of turnover, and
that's
it's
great.
a really good business model. I love that.
Excellent.
That's a really. fun one.
Anything else that you've been experiencing or anything new to any new concepts outside of that?
No, I mean, I really try to sort of get people to work together. So they use,
Yeah.
a lot of people to make their life easier. For example, also when they have a really nice, for example, accommodation, they get someone else to provide the food because cooking food or providing platters of food, but they use local businesses, local,
Yep.
cafes that use local food, locally produced food, and use that as for their food offering, which saves a lot of time. Other things to make people's life a bit easier is, for example, they might have accommodation on the farm. They host the breakfast like at their in the homestead in the family farm, if you like. And some have these beautiful historic homesteads, which I just love those. And so they have that personal contact, that storytelling
Yep.
at breakfast. And then the evening meal is served in the accommodation so that the farmer doesn't have to also, host people in the evening. It's just too much,
Yeah.
it's nice to have visitors, but you also, if it's every day, in summer, every day and every morning, it's just too much. Um, so that's something that I like that idea as well.
Great.
That's,
Excellent.
yeah.
So when
So,
you go
yeah.
to the Global Agritourism Network in Scotland, what are you presenting about, just about your organization and your experience?
Yeah, well, because I've been chairing the education committee, so it's very much about education, about the value and the importance of agritourism accommodation. It's going to be an amazing conference. I was lucky enough to be invited to speak at the Scottish Agritourism Conference about a year and a half ago.
Oh, great.
It was in Perth, which is not too far where it is now, and I was probably one of the best conferences I've ever been to. And the people are so friendly. And Scottish people, I just really love. I just love Scots. They're just lovely, great hospitality. This conference is going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, Caroline Miller, who's the agritourism lead, she's amazing. I've stayed with her at that time, so I got to know her quite well. And last year, her and her mom visited me here in New Zealand and
Oh,
stayed with me
great.
as well, which
Oh,
was so
that's
nice. So I
terrific.
got to know her quite well, and she's incredible. So that conference is going to be, yeah. So we really encourage anyone to sort of come and join the conference. There's still quite a few seats available or spaces, and it's going to be extremely inspirational. They also have the first day they have you can select one of the tours. They have like a whole day where you visit 3 farms
Oh,
with
wow.
groups of people, and that's going to be fun. And then the conference has got lots, and there's a gala evening as well, and with what they call a ceilidh, which is really fun, which is Scottish dancing and stuff. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, it's crazy. Right, but
That's great.
the content's going to be really. People also have some keynote speakers, but they also have a lot of breakout sessions, so people can choose what they want. So if anyone's interested in agritourism, whether you're a farmer or whether you're into economic development for your region
Right.
or at a university or whatever, it's a really important conference to be at. So yeah,
Right.
and a really great way to network with others and meet other people that do similar things as you do around the
Yeah,
world.
exactly. I know, so the network itself, the Global Agritourism Network, do you feel that it's evolving in a really positive way? I know in the very beginning, I know there feedback from other people had said that there was a lot more academics involved
Mm.
versus farmers, and more that, so I don't know how that's evolved or changed and just your perception of that.
Yeah, actually, a lot of the people in the steering committee now are people that are not academics. I mean, it's sort of a
That's good.
balance more, I think now.
Okay.
It's just been last year it was incorporated into a not-for-profit organization. It's taken a few years, so that's finally happened. And yeah, it's really going from strength to strength. So
Good.
it's it's going to take it. these things don't happen overnight. I'm not a very patient person. I do like to think for things to happen, a bit faster. But yeah, with an organization like that, that's global. It's quite hard. But they're also like, you have regional committees. Like, so we are part of the Australia, New Zealand regional committee. So you've got an American committee, you've got European, Eastern European, Western European, different parts of Africa, Asia, you name it, the whole world. And each of those committees also have their own little committee where they organize things in their own region. So we have a lot of farmers in our committee. We have a few people like myself, but yeah, the at the moment, for example, the person that leads that, Tim, he's a farmer. He's a very experienced agritourism operator.
Is that Karinga? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
you've talked to Tim before.
I have.
Tim
Yes,
is
he's
very
terrific.
passionate.
Yes,
Yeah.
very.
So
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that conversation very much. So
yeah. So he's very involved with the global agritourism network. So yeah. So, but of course, academics often have a bit more time. Like for us, it's all for the people that are not paid by universities.
Yeah,
It's a bit easy because people that are, like the people at universities get paid to go to conferences. For me, it's literally the other side of the world. So it's very expensive to go.
yes,
We're talking about, $5,000 or something.
it's a lot.
But for
Yes,
people that are at universities, they get that paid for, and they often probably may get some of their time paid for as well.
I'm
So
sure.
that's
Yeah,
why probably traditionally there've been more. But also as we create a membership that has more value for everyone. Like in the education committee, we've produced a lot of webinars together with Lisa
yep.
Chase, and people that have presented. We've coordinated that, and that's been a real concrete output. But as we grow the organization, to have more benefits for farmers, because if it's just talking around in committees about a definitions committee and a communications committee and it's like farmers like, well, what's in it for me? So in the end,
Right.
it's about creating value for everyone, for all the different stakeholders in the global agritourism network.
Okay.
And that's what's being developed further now.
Good.
So that's
Okay.
and it's
Excellent.
those things take a while, and because it's all been volunteer work, no one's been paid for anything. It takes a while to get that
I
all
know.
sorted.
Well,
Yeah.
it's good progress though, and it's hard. Anything global,
Yeah, gosh.
there's a lot of unique challenges to that. There's a lot of unique
Yeah.
challenges domestically. I forget about globally.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I
um,
know, I know.
yeah. So just one more question for you. So as you've built an amazing business and, I've seen it evolve and I see you online and stuff.
Mm-mm.
So just as you reflect back, what are your thoughts? Like, how do you reflect back on what you've done in New Zealand, the impact you've made?
Yeah, so I think that the biggest challenge has been um, over the years. Like, so I've been involved with agritourism for about 26 years, but
Wow.
set up Agritourism New Zealand 8 years ago. The biggest challenge has been to create awareness to farmers what the opportunities are in diversifying, or that there even are opportunities
Right.
in diversifying. So I've put agritourism on the map, if you like. There's always been agritourism. There's always been entrepreneurial people who have had amazing business on their farm. It was never
Right.
called agritourism. It was just called farm tours and farm stays and things. So it's been a huge job getting speaking, to media, do a lot of, these type of things, as
Yep.
radio interviews and just newspaper, all sorts of different media interviews, speaking at conferences and events. I do a lot that. It's taken a long time to sort of take it for people and farming organizations to take it seriously.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
that more and more people are getting into it, and they can see that their neighbors are actually making hundreds of thousands, extra, cash, basically. Because like in New Zealand, we also like our farms are not subsidized. Like in Europe and in the US, they get farm subsidies. Our farms get zero, and we're a long way from our, from our markets. If we have sent, you know, beef or lamb to Europe or to the States, there are often tariffs, involved. But we do have like free trade agreements with a lot of countries. Like we were the first country in the world, for example, that had a free trade agreement with China. No one has that. No one's wants a free trade. We do, and same with India and Australia and all those and lots of other countries. So it's pretty tough for our farmers. So for them to create extra income, they basically, if they want to get into tourism, they need to learn a whole new industry.
Yep.
And so that whole education piece on what's involved, that's been the hardest thing to say to people, hey, there is a real opportunity here that can really create a lot of income. So now you see that happening, and you see people who are, whose kids are coming back to the farm and are developing businesses. The farm stays in the family rather than being sold off to large, other, farms and get planted in pine trees, and stuff like that. So that's been the biggest challenge, and that's taken a lot of time and effort. And but I think that's been the same. So Caroline Miller from Scotland, she's been through that exact same sort of journey, and it's not something that's if you want to get rich, don't start an agritourism organization. It's not, but I'm very passionate about it, and I love help people build successful businesses. So I also do like consultancy projects and one-on-one projects, and but it's been so much fun, and the best part is the people. I love the people. That's been. Yeah, I've made such amazing friends, and it's a very exciting industry, and one that's globally growing much faster than any other type of tourism.
Yeah.
Because people want that genuine, they want a genuine experience, and love meeting local, real, or in this case, New Zealand people. Or so
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, from the outside, you look like you're rocking and rolling. And it's good to see everything coming together and just expanding. It's, I love it. So thank you for taking a little time. I just wanted to catch up with you from our last conversation and, get it out there about what's going on. So thank you for taking the time. I know it's busy, and have a blast in Scotland.
I know. I certainly will. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. So anyone else, please come.
Well, we're getting the word out there. So you have a great day, and I will hopefully speak to you soon. Keep in touch.
All right. Thanks, Jen.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
I hope our Agritourist podcast prompts you to think more about where your food comes from, whether it be your vegetables, fruits, meats, and even those sweet treats. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with someone you think may truly benefit from or be inspired by it. Visit us at agra-tourist.com. Until next time.